All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. We'd love you to support this show. Please like, follow, and subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Your likes and subscription helps us to grow and attract interviews and content. So please retweet and share our posts. Your contributions are appreciated. Welcome to episode 439 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill. I'm back this week, and we got Marcus Almighty Mark.
Vida Zane.
You just said goodbye.
Yes.
Well, thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you next time. All right. Daniel stayed up late.
Guten Tag.
There you go. That's what I meant.
That's the right end of the day. Dankeschön. And Ken, the voice of reason.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Hola.
Amigos. That's bueno. All right, so we don't really have any topics this week because, of course, it is the cruise, so we're going to go a bit random. I've got a giveaway this week, so we'll get this out of the way immediately. When I was at Cruise Fest, we unveiled. Let's get it. I was just like testing how to make this thing show up. It is, of course.
There you go.
There it is.
Art for MASS-KISSTERIA, and this is a signed print by the artist. And if you really want to see it, you're just going to have to win it. So that's the giveaway this week.
Julian, I hope you didn't make Bruce Kulick sign that one.
No.
Good move.
No, mine's going to be a private fan limited edition publication. It's not going to be in mass market channels, which leads me to, and that's a nice segue, thank you, into I've now got a KissFAQ store open, and leftover copies of the Kiss on Tour 50th anniversary hardcover are available there. Link will be in the show. I'm also going to be adding collectibles, which means rare one-of-a-kind items such as Ace's Creatures cassette, Eric's Elder cassette, contracts, Michael James Jackson's 1982 planner, which is nice little tie-in with the box set. So if you want the Ultimate Creatures collectibles to put in your Creatures box, you can add Ace's Creatures tape, the contract Michael signed, and his day planner from that year. If you got deep pockets, of course. And there'll be a lot of other stuff. Some one-of-a-kind books that are still left from over the years. I'm just pruning things out. Got some air travel to pay for. So, Mark, you had something to update as well.
First of all, apologies for my fantastic German. Number two, I just wanted to say that thank you to Julian for doing the Look It's Rock and Roll podcast segment with me for the Dark Monarchy release that just came out. Chiaroscuro. I keep saying that, I think, correctly, I hope. But it's doing very well. Thank you to everybody who has ordered it. If you haven't gotten your copy or ordered your copy yet, just go to the Bandcamp page, which is just darkmonarchy.bandcamp.com. We're still taking orders for the CD. And, of course, you can buy it digitally anytime you wish on there. And like I said, it's been doing fairly well, so thank you very much for the support so far. And that's what I mainly wanted to say because I do appreciate every person who has supported this project, and a very special thank you to Julian for helping me out with that podcast. Thank you.
No problem. Anytime. And I'll be talking about some other stuff shortly, hopefully on the podcast. Get that going again. Kind of slacking with me being so busy. Ken, you got some comments from the last episode? Since I wasn't here, you get to. We'll go to Ken's comment corner.
Comment. Okay. Here we go. I do have some comments. The last episode. Let's see what we got. Oh, see, I just lost it.
Oh, good.
That's going really well. Okay, so from Richard Webb, who is ordering the Kiss Alive 2 cornhole, for God's sake? $300. No.
There are some serious cornholers out there.
You could buy a cornholes for $300, or you could buy the
terrible name.
Creatures box set for $300, which is actually now down to $170 something on Amazon. But geez, I think it's an easy choice there.
Yeah, but it could also be used as a Kiss glory hole.
Oh, look at that. Dun, 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 dun.
Multi-use.
Don't give Gene any ideas now. Don't give Gene any ideas.
Okay. Yeah, jeez. That's the next one. Okay, thank you for that. Steve Anderson says, he always says this. 7 thumbs up from me, and I haven't even watched yet. So he's the blue Kool-Aid drinker. So thanks for his.
He always
that.
write that.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does.
Every episode.
He does. Yes. Bally Rotter comment is Mark doesn't think anyone would want to see Soul Station on the Kiss Cruise. What about all the crappy hair bands that appear on the cruises?
Oh, please.
Would most fans rather see them? I certainly wouldn't. I think Soul Station would definitely be one of the more popular acts on the cruise. It's just weird that Mark can't see that purely because of his own personal dislike for Soul Station.
No, that's because Soul Station is bad, and the hair metal bands are actually better, I think.
Yeah. Has nothing to do with Kiss or classic rock, really, does it?
Exactly. You know
So
what I mean?
I kind of see your standpoint, and I see the other standpoint.
Thank you, my good friend,
Then
the
again,
voice
it's
of
Paul
reason.
Stanley, and okay, well, so who knows? No right or wrong on that. All right, next
He
we
looks
got
flustered by that comment.
we have Aaron Philpott. A simple solution for the whole Dubai debacle.
Mm-mm.
Ooh. Offer the fans who paid for the Platinum Bundle a complimentary VIP upgrade with the purchase of any regular concert ticket.
Yeah.
This comes at zero cost to the band. The only inconvenience to Kiss is a quick 5-second photograph with each of the people who have been out of pocket $1,000 for 2 years. I can't believe the band has chosen to remain silent on this issue for so long. Sure, it's not their fault, but if someone was out there dragging my name through the mud, I can guarantee not only would I clear my name, I'd make good with the people who were wronged, and I'd make an example of those who wronged me. Gene Simmons should be saying, this isn't good enough for my fans. I'm going to bury these people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
We'll talk about Dubai a bit later
Just a little
because
bit,
Doc is on record now during the cruise of flapping his gums about it. So we'll talk about that shortly.
Yeah, and we'll leave it at that. There's more, but thank you for everyone who leave your comments regularly on there. We appreciate it.
All right. So from my perspective, last week was Cruise Fest, where I was for 2 days. Joe, Patrice, and everyone involved in that, thank you for hosting the event and putting that on. I was there strictly as a vendor during the day, and there were quite a few vendors there. I think the Kiss Booze Co. was there. The Bicycle was there. The Bill Coin Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Tom Feely was there, as was Anton Fig, Vinny Appice.
Apathy.
I've been through that last week already, and which one it is for Vinny. So Vinny was there, and of course Todd Howarth. Todd Howarth only just released 3 CDs. He's got, and I think it's toddhowarth.biz. So Comet Canvas is kind of acoustic re-recordings of quite a few of his Comet songs, which sound updated. They sound really good, and I've just started digesting these. I got distracted by Mark's new album dropping, so sorry, Todd, you got bumped by Mark. Then Coastal Canvas, which is mellow, really cool. I mean, it's kind of a fine wine CD. And then Heavy Canvas, which is all new heavy originals. And when I say heavy, it's hard rock, because Todd Howarth is more in the melodic vein, though he does do some, I would say there's a couple of drop tune songs on there, some very good stuff. So I'll be doing a review on the Look It's Rock and Roll podcast about all 3 of those albums in one shot.
Cool.
So then there was me doing my books. Thank you to everyone who stopped by, everyone who purchased a book, everyone who just said hi or managed to get a picture with the backdrop. I'd like to have done more pictures because we had great lighting behind us and it worked out quite nicely. Who was next to me was Chris Hoffman Art. He, of course, did the art for my Aerosmith book, did a ton of Aerosmith stuff. It was great to see his Kiss stuff in person for real, and to see the Anaheim poster that could have been in the Kiss box set, but which was kind of pulled. So he had all that stuff. He wasn't there. He had one of his partners was there selling for him. So, but very cool to see. And then Kiss jewelry and Claudio, of course. So Claudio had all of his art. He debuted this the night before. If you want to win this, again, it's a signed print. There, it finally shows up.
There you go.
Email KissFAQ@outlook.com. Gimme. And just put whatever you want in the message, because that's how I do the drawings, and it'll be a random drawing. I'll ship it flat. I will not try to roll it. There you go. And it's signed by Claudio, the artist, in ink. It does not have the MASS-KISSTERIA titling on it. So that was everyone who was there, and it was quite a good amount of foot traffic. I cut out at about 2 each day because, well, first day I was going to go have lunch with someone, and then on to Godmother's, which was a real cool little pub. And Andy Moyen put together a couple little kind of gatherings there. The first night was very casual, just me. I brought some books to sell and drank some whiskey. What the hell just happened? Trying to share your screen?
I tried to share the screen of your best-selling book in Sweden while you were talking about the Swedish books. Seems like
all right. So yeah, you sent me that, and that blew my mind. Tell me about that, and tell everyone, what it was you sent to me and why.
Yeah, I just went through the Swedish Amazon and went through the heavy metal section. I was kind of surprised because in fourth place I saw Brian Johnson's biography, and I don't remember second and third place, but at number 1, Gene Ace, Peter and Paul by Julian Gill. So nice. You were actually number 1 in the heavy metal section on Swedish Amazon. I don't know how many units that means, but quite something. Brian Johnson only made it to number 4, so I think it was kind of cool while you were talking about your books.
Yeah, and
so that was what I was trying to share.
Yeah, and Tim, of course, did most of the interviews in that. I did do a few, but again, that was a Tim and me project. So thank you, Sweden. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. If anyone in Sweden wants to translate that book into Swedish, would love for that to happen, and would happily make that happen if anyone's brave enough, again, to translate all those interviews into something readable in Scandinavian, since Scandinavia is such a great market. Email me. We can talk. All right.
Someone could do that, like a school teacher or something could probably translate it.
Yeah.
Where can we find one of those?
What?
I have no idea. No clue.
Yeah, he's
it's
not.
Pretty.
It's pretty.
The book
thick.
is like this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you'd have to throw it into something like Google Translate and then clean it up vernacular-wise, which is what I do reverse when I'm translating interviews and newspaper reviews from foreign languages. Just get the gist of it from there and then clean it up properly to make it readable.
We could do what do you say, abbreviated, short.
Abbreviated.
Abbreviated.
Yes.
That's the word.
Yeah, and again, that would be completely possible. So, we all got together at Godmother's the first night, and there was a rumor going around that it was a gay bar. And, I walked in there, it was just full of construction workers. I'm like, okay, it's cool. That's definitely not the case. But then the policeman came in, followed by the Indians. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was a really cool bar, actually. That first night there were police, sirens, public safety. Yeah, a real good gathering. Second night was Andy's event, which had the Sisters dolls in for a meet and greet, and the lads are always cool, and got a fair amount of love. Hopefully they got enough love for showing up at the event, and that was absolutely happening. It was packed that night because the Cruise Fest, the first night, had comedians. I didn't stay for that. I bumped into Craig the following day at the hotel, and he seemed really happy with how it had gone the night before, which is cool. But I didn't stay for that. And then the following night, the Friday, was, of course, the big show over at the Yost Theater, which had Slaughter, cover bands, and whatnot. And that apparently went down very well for those who attended that as well. But we did an alternative one for people who didn't want a live show or getting on a bus to go, I don't know what it is, 45 minutes to an hour to get over to the Oost, because I knew I wouldn't be doing that after being on my feet vending all day. So, there was a little bit of something for everyone, and it was really fun. And then saying farewell to people as they went off to do their cruise. We hopped in the car because I was shipping some stuff back east for a friend, and you show up at the UPS store and there are people with Kiss bicycles, shipping all their stuff back, so the people who are getting off the first cruise and not staying on. So it's been an exciting time, especially, watching this week what's been going down on the cruise, hearing what's going on the cruise. And we're going to talk a little bit about the second week of the cruise and, what's been jumping out at you in your news feeds on Facebook. Daniel, let's start with you. I mean, what are some of the high points or low points or just things that you want to comment on about the cruise that you've seen?
I haven't been looking through the videos so much as previous years. Mainly, I think, because the cruise kind of have, stopped evolving. I think it's more of the same, unfortunately. I've always enjoyed Bruce's performances, but I found myself this year a bit, not as not as happy watching it somehow. Previous years I've been in awe, but it's kind of similar to previous years. Still good, still very good, but with a few surprises, thrown in a few surprise songs. One which I kind of not like at all. They threw in Bang Bang You this year. One of the worst songs ever. Kind of fun, but still sounds like Bang Bang You. So I did, however, like the version of that Honda Shade tune. What's it called? King of Hearts. I think that was kind of a cool performance. So Bruce always stand out, but unfortunately the Kiss set has kind of stagnated. It's kind of stale, not a lot of new songs, deep cuts and so on. But I'm sure the fans enjoyed it anyway. But watching from afar, it's not a whole lot of new stuff happening. It's kind of similar to previous years, but it seems like they have quite some time over there.
Who's kicking?
Not me.
Oh, maybe I'm drumming a little bit.
Daniel,
Sorry.
you're a nightmare tonight.
Yeah.
Pressing buttons and drumming. All right. Ken, voice of reason, what are some of the things that have been, jumping out for you?
Just a couple 3 songs that were kind of a few here or there, not very many that were played. I checked those out. Like Love 'Em, Leave 'Em, Two Timer. I guess I Want You, for instance. That sort of thing. I'm checking that out. I saw that. Then there's the. I guess we'll talk about it too. The little quick doc interview. Or a part of it, and then the interview with the band. I watched some of that. No new revelations, and then the long one with Paul Stanley, the long question and answer session there, which is a lot of the same old. Not a lot of new news other than about them continuing, I guess, until who knows when. 2025, I don't know, something like that. So yeah, I've been checking out stuff here and there.
Mark?
Yeah, I've been checking some stuff out here and there. I've been kind of tied up with my own stuff, so I haven't been checking it as much as I probably would have normally. But that was one of the things I did want to watch. I did watch Paul Stanley's Q&A a bit. It was okay. Nothing.
Sebastian Bach asked him about Sam Loomis.
Yeah, there were some interesting things, and then Tracy Guns asked him. So I forget what he asked him, but he was on there too apparently. But I think for me, what I mainly like to watch is those sail away show performances and stuff like that. I mean, for me, I was curious to see how that went, mainly because I had a feeling that there probably wasn't much backing going on with this. This is probably more live off the floor kind of performances. So I was curious to see how that transpired, and it was pretty decent performances. So good for them. And I was also trying to see some of the other things that were happening on there. I mean, I think there was a Black Label Society video that went up with them performing. I think that was from the cruise. I'm pretty sure I saw something about them being on there. So, I probably should have watched more than I did. But like I said, I was wrapped up with my own stuff. My own record, as I mentioned earlier, came out right around this time. So I kind of had to put my attention onto that as well. So, but I have to say the Sail Away show that was up here was good. Oh, and the other thing that I really enjoyed was people that I know, like Steve Wright from the Potter and Hell podcast, and those guys. They went and they started posting a lot of photos of them on the cruise, and I always dig seeing when they're hanging out with people that they meet and stuff like that. So there's been some great photos from the ship and from people meeting each other for the first time. So I always dig seeing those kind of photos as well.
I'm kind of curious, Mark and Ken. I don't think you've been on the cruise, have you? Never.
No.
Neither have I. But do you still feel the same anticipation for videos leaking from the cruise that you did a few years back?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because back when this first started, the very first one was obviously like a big deal because they never did it. So of course there was a big anticipation to it. But then as it went on, there was always, like you said, some sort of theme to it. The one year they did a live recreation on stage. Then the one year they did the kind of dress to kill thing where they went in those tuxedos and suits on stage and played. That was really cool. Then they did the Creatures of the Night kind of stage setup. So there was always something to kind of look forward to and something to say, oh, what are they going to play this time? And they would come out and play like Suffering a solo record that one year when they did Radioactive and all these other songs. And now it just seems like they're just they're kind of phoning it in. No offense, I know I can see the tomatoes being hurled at me already for saying that, but it just seems like they're just really. I think at this point they just want to get this over and done with. I think, but now of course that is 2025 news. I guess they don't really want to get this over and done with. So, but we'll see. I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I went on a cruise, and if I went on the cruise and got any one of these live set lists from the 4 indoor shows, I would have been happy, thrilled compared with what I actually saw, and that being essentially the warm up for the end of the road. These were halfway decent. Now for diehard cruisers who've been to 11 and now 12 cruises, I can just see them rolling their eyes. But then again, that's a perspective from the peanut gallery. They're there. You're still at a Kiss concert with a select few friends, and especially the elite who get into the pit for these shows get an absolutely fantastic experience. And even us stiffs who are in the seats still get a really good show. But Tommy was saying how they were rehearsing all these rarities, and then it's basically songs that they just haven't played for a few years. Not one single new, never previously performed song, even something from Carnival of Souls or Asylum. I mean, Trial by Fire, how difficult would that be? Mm-hmm. Nothing. Instead, you get Two Timer and Take Me at the Sail Away. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to hear both of those songs live and in concert, but I don't want to hear Do You Love Me on a freaking cruise. I don't want to hear Firehouse on a cruise that's just been played throughout a whole tour for 3 years. Christine 16, I'd be thrilled to hear that. I'd be fine. Next night, first night indoors, Love 'Em and Leave 'Em and King of the Nighttime World. Thrilled.
This is what they're doing.
Thrilled with both of those. Even Heaven's on Fire. Actually, they're doing that currently, aren't they? Yeah, they are. But Come On and Love Me, and again, Take Me. I mean, that's great, but those aren't rare. They're kind of deep cuts, in a sense. So the first cruise between those 3 shows, did the math, 27 different Kiss songs were performed by Kiss. Same set, both indoor shows. On the second cruise, 30 Kiss songs were performed. So the original Kiss Cruise 11 got treated better than people who just went on the first one. There you go. You weren't treated equally. And they pulled out I Want You, which I never want to hear live again. 2003 killed that. So, Daniel, back to you asking Ken.
Yeah, I'd like to hear Ken's perspective on this as well.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the videos getting excited, yeah, I mean, I don't get excited as I did, not as compared to the early Kiss Cruises when we were going to see videos there. But I still, I look for them and hope for something different, right? Something new, some deeper cuts, and deal with the. I mean, seriously, Kiss has been playing the same set list, for the last 3 or 4 years. Why don't they just drop that whole set list? Don't play any of those songs, and play other songs that are not on that set list. Everyone's seen them, however many times over the last 4 years, whatever it is, 3 or 4 years, and so just drop them. Put everything else in new, even if there's songs that have played, 5 years ago. At least it's different than the current set list. There's no reason to play a current concert set list that you've been playing for the past few years. It's just ridiculous, that's my opinion. So, I would love them to do that, but yeah, obviously they're not going to do it, and they didn't do it. So as far as trying to get them to do something else, they haven't done anything for the last, since Julian's, when Julian went. Every year has been kind of not the greatest, as far as deep cuts. And Paul Stanley put out his tweet or whatever it was, or Instagram, I don't know which it was, about saying they did a bunch of deep cuts and stuff.
Well, technically, Love 'Em and Leave 'Em is still a deep cut. I'll hand him that.
Well, it is.
Me. Some of them haven't been performed in, I think, 10 years, but
it makes it sound like there's a lot that they did, and that's not true.
It's like he broke into Tomorrow,
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my opinion. They shouldn't do anything that's off of the regular set list on the cruise, basically, in my opinion. But they can do some of it either on the sail away or whatever, sail away. But the actual makeup concert, man, just throw in a bunch of songs that aren't on their current set list.
They can't. But again, this is peanut gallery talking, and again, I want to stress that point because it's completely different when you're there, and I recognize that and know that firsthand. But anyway. Sail Away show, no Bruce Kulick. And again, go back to 2018 when Bruce and Ace were on the boat. I ended up seeing 6 members of Kiss on stage. This time, they don't even bother bringing him out for the Sail Away, which just strikes me as very odd. Bruce has been the savior of the Kiss cruise for, 3 years? First with Bob, and then on his return visits, because that's the only time you get to really hear a lot of the catalog that Bruce continues to hold the torch for. So, Daniel, 2 questions for you. Do you think it was egregious, really wrong, that Bruce was not featured in the Sail Away show like they've done in previous year during previous years? And 2, this is a little bit more snarky. Bruce's set this year included songs that he had nothing to do with. The Oath, Fits Like a Glove. Is that right or wrong? Because I'm like, why the hell is he doing those? Is that the only way you're going to now hear any deep cuts and truly rare songs if Bruce does them or some other band does them on the set? Because Kiss won't even bother doing Fits Like a Glove, which Gene could sing, so now Bruce has to do those as well. He had nothing to do with those songs. I know he played them a lot during at least Fits Like a Glove on the Animalized tour. Daniel.
You can never go wrong with playing Fits Like a Glove. That's perfect. That's a perfect pick. No, I do see the connection to Fits Like a Glove, just like you mentioned. They played it a lot during his tenure in Kiss. all the way through his first tour and up until the Revenge tour was the first tour they didn't play it, I think. So I do see why they play that one. He might remember it as a cool song live, which it is. So I think that's cool. But I can't really see no reason for him playing something from The Elder. He should stick to his era, in my opinion, because that's what's unique about his performance. But I do have to say once again that I felt this cruise this year was the one I most disappointed with. I haven't been to any of the cruises. It's way too far away for me. But just the anticipation, I knew before it even started that I would be disappointed this year. Because they seem, just as Ken said, that they just do the same old set list that they have been doing for years, with some small changes, but not enough. So I feel a bit disappointed, and I do feel they could use Bruce more than they did. It seems like they didn't plan this one, as I think it was Ken who said that was it Mark, that in previous years they've at least tried doing something different, like the tank, new costumes, something to get excited about. But this year it was just like nothing special. Nothing topped anything from previous years. There was nothing that was better. Bruce's performance, it was great as always, but it's we've seen it a few times now, so you're not as you don't get it as over the top when you hear it. Still good, but I just feel a little bit disappointed.
Cash grab
about it.
I'm mad that they didn't bring out Stonehenge.
Well, I honestly think that for Bruce not appearing with Kiss, I have my own kind of theories on why that didn't happen, but I'm probably completely wrong. Well, I think that maybe some recent things that he's been doing, maybe it's been rubbing them the wrong way, maybe,
What could Bruce possibly do that could rub anyone wrong? He's Bruce. God's sakes.
I don't know, but we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, we don't know what, I don't know, because like you said, it seems very unlikely that they would have just not had him up on stage with them. I mean, he had him up there so many times before. What's changed this time? You know what I mean? And as far as his own set list going on, I mean, let's look at it this way. He's kind of focused on every kind of era or record that he was involved with up to now. So what is there really left for him to do? I mean, he focused on Revenge, he focused on Carnival of Souls, he focused on all the records that he did before, the Asylum thing, he did this and that. So he's going to have to start digging into some other areas of the Kiss catalog. And if he's going to be the guy known for doing deep cuts off of other Kiss records that they won't do, then what's wrong with that? I don't see the problem with that, because if Kiss is not going to do them and people keep yelling and screaming for them to do it and they don't do it, then guess what? Maybe somebody else should step up and do them if they're not going to do them, right? And Bruce Kulick's band is good. They perform stuff really well. And I just get the feeling that, for him to go back and do another medley of Revenge songs, sure, that's great, but it's like the honeymoon's over kind of with that stuff,
Yeah, how about lay off the medleys and actually play the full songs?
Okay, great. Or you can do that, but then even then that's going to come to a point where that's being done. And then what? So I don't think you should be disallowed to do other songs. I mean, if Kiss is not going to play something off of Hotter Than Hell, let's say, like Mainline, if they don't play it and he wants to play it, what's wrong with that? That's just my kind of opinion on that.
Just wait for the next Kiss cruise when they'll have all those tribute bands playing the deep cuts. So.
Well,
Jesus.
that's their fault, because if they're not going to do it, then what? How are you going to please the fans? Then that's the sad part. If the fans are going to be pleased because of tribute bands playing it, then shame on them. Seriously.
Yeah, I think it's easier to accept the stale set list when it comes to the world tour in arenas. I mean, I want to hear the hits as well in an arena. I want to see the crowd. But when it comes to a cruise, why not put in some sort of effort? Because all the guys on the cruise have seen the tour and they've seen the songs already. They've heard them a million times. Why not put in the effort?
80% of the people on a cruise are diehard Kiss fans. 20% of them, I would say, are diehard cruisers, and Kiss is the side benefit. So, I just hope, Bruce can play whatever the hell he wants, but
of course.
I would much prefer that he play, not stay in his lane, because I'm not suggesting that, but just stuff that he has more of a connection with. Daniel made the point that, Fits Like a Glove was played throughout the 1980s, which makes it fair game. Absolutely true. Sure, I've got a thing for the songs off Asylum and, hearing Heart of Chrome in its entirety, or a couple of other songs off Carnival of Souls, and maybe even some of the demos that he plays on Gene's box, Vault, But again, if he wore a purple bandana to play The Oath, we're all good.
But I think one more problem is that if he keeps doing stuff that he wasn't involved with, he's pretty close to becoming a tribute act himself, like a tribute band himself. If he starts doing stuff he wasn't even, he wasn't even playing back in the day, it feels like he's closer to a tribute band than being the Bruce Kulick band.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, after a while, though, like if he's going to be always doing these cruises, after a while, he's just going to run out of material.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, we've seen him now a few times, and then it's hard when maybe he should release something. Maybe he should release a record with the band and start performing some of his own
or make a new
stuff.
solo record. Do something from BK3 or something.
But he needs a singer, so keep that Todd guy.
Yeah, I think it'd be easier for him to do a couple nights at a club, pack it out, and record a live album with all these things, on it, because it gets the feeling that it's kind of coming to an end in some ways, that his connection with the cruise has kind of become old hat and is no longer, obviously the newness wears off it. The excitement dulls as something becomes more commonplace and more consumed. And it's like, oh, he's back, he's doing that again. So it's very easy to forget that excitement that was initially generated when he and his brother got together and, really dialed in those hits. Add to that, I mean, it would have been nice if he was doing some of the stuff of his brothers. I think that's probably very fair territory with Bob now gone for him to fill in on those and maybe do some of the songs that Bob never did. Down on Your Knees. Again, I'm spitballing ideas there for him. He doesn't need anyone to do that. He's got a very obviously fixed vision for his own career and his own creativity anyway. But I would love to hear this stuff recorded live properly so that we could all just, enjoy it outside of the kind of bootlegs on YouTube video, that we have to suffer through for free. I'd rather pay him to listen to his performance so that he and his guys, do get paid. They're not getting paid off YouTube. It's going to the publishers. Hello? You guys still alive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nah,
of course we're alive.
Stick a quarter in me. And someone say, no, stick a knife in him. So let's go there, Ken. Dubai. Doc is recorded talking about the Dubai fiasco. I'm just going to read it. The video's up there if you want to go and find it. And he just says, I'm not saying it's not our fault. It's just that we weren't in that process of it. At the end of the day, we're responsible because it's Kiss's name on it, and we're going to make it right by everybody. That's a verbal contract, Doc. Though, no doubt you've got better lawyers than me. It might not be 100% what everybody wants, but we're going to try and make it right. Oh, now he's already backpedaling. Try. And by giving them something different or by giving them their money back. Because we never got the money. I'm pretty sure you didn't step on stage in Dubai without getting paid. Though
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
I think it's multiple separate things. I think Dubai tourism paid for a lot, and Landmark is a whole separate thing. I think there's multiple business arrangements in here that are competing. So he may well be talking about Landmark did not pay them for the rights to release Kiss product, which could be completely separate. So I don't have the contracts, and I'm not business oriented. So, all right. So by giving them something different, because we never got the money, but we're in the middle of lawsuits with them, are you? But that's a whole different story. Actually, no, it's part of this story, but sorry, I'm interjecting a lot. The real thing is we're responsible for it because it's Kiss and we'll take care of it. The guy says, of course it sucks because you just got caught in the middle of it. Yeah, let's not be all doughy-eyed to Doc McGee, who's got, 50 years of experience in the industry and Kiss. They're not some novices at this shit. So,
no shit.
The excuses. Yeah, but something. So shit happens. Yeah, tell us about it. The main thing is we're taking ownership of it. As artists, it's our name on it. Okay, you guys are the ones that got hurt by it, not us, but we did get hurt by it because we got a bad rap, and the only thing we can try and do is take ownership and make it right. That's all we can do, and make it as close to right as anybody can. So, before I let Ken go, I want to make 2 more points on that. If you're taking ownership of this, where have been the statements on Kiss Online throughout it, letting us all know that what was advertised on Kiss Online you're taking ownership of? There's not been anything. This would not be admissible. Where is this posted on Kiss Online? Where is any message from the band that they acknowledge that there are problems going on with Landmark that they're working on? Again, communication is absolutely everything. It's part of what's the big problem with Magic and some other projects that have gone off the rails. But this is an official Kiss product and project tied to Kiss's name that was advertised by them and fans paid their money for on the band's word. So I need to see a little bit more action and meaningful statements than something casual on the cruise, because I don't doubt there's a lot more to the story than we need to know or we ever will know, and it's clearly a big mess for everyone. But I counted up the number of VIPs on the credits because I still have my screener, and there were 210. That's $210,000 for people who paid for that VIP package, assuming all of those people paid and weren't freebie kickbacks. That's a lot of money. That's a magical amount of money. So I'd like to see more action, but they've been blocking people who've been bothering them. That's Gene, that's probably Paul, but certainly Doc, are blocking people who bother them. And that's not good business either, in my view, when all it takes is a statement acknowledging. Let's start with an acknowledgement that there is a problem with Kiss 2020 Goodbye. Ken, what do you need as a person who has been burned and who has a Wrath of Khan meme?
Yes. Doc says he got a bad rap, right? And obviously he's heard it, or people have mentioned it to him. I don't know how the bad rap has gotten public other than us or a couple of Facebook pages or maybe another podcast besides us, possibly.
Who?
But it's been mostly
Name
us.
names. Name names.
I don't know.
What other
Who
podcasts?
else? I don't know. It's possible been talked on. It's basically been us or me. I'll take the blame. And I even posted on my Facebook. But yeah, at least he's kind of didn't blow it off, and he answered the question. I hope it's true that they are going to try to make it right. But yeah, how they're going to do get the names of the people who paid for that? Where are they going to get it from? Landmark?
From the credits list I posted?
Well, the credits list, yeah, I know. And the credits list is just the $1,000 VIPs got their name there.
Oh yeah, you're
the
not
ones
there.
that what?
You're not there.
Exactly.
Sorry, you don't exist.
I know. So what about the people that paid the $250 or whatever, the other package? I'm sure there's more people that paid for that than the 1,000, and that probably adds up to a lot of money too. So they need to identify, if they're going to do it, they need to identify those people. everybody actually. And yeah, if they want to do a refund, you're talking about
Hey,
possible a
you know,
refund.
if there's
Fine.
200, if there's 210 people and there's a lot more VIPs, I think a custom pressing of the Kiss title just for us would go
Yeah,
some way to assuaging that pain. Well, come on, $250 is still $250, especially
it
now.
is.
You know, now that times are tough, I bet a lot of people who spent that money would love to have that back in their pocket because they could really use it right now because that's a tank of gas.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, I just hope something happens. It sounds like they're taking ownership of it, according to Doc. So we'll see. We'll see. Only time will tell. I just hope something does happen. It's been acknowledged, and it sounds like they have a lawsuit going on with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Which who knows what that's all about. Um, but yeah, what can I do at this point? That's the best news we've gotten in the last 2 years, at least from my standpoint.
Yeah, I'm not going to rail on Doc. I'm certainly not railing on Doc or the band.
No,
I am always very annoyed when it comes down to a matter of communication. That is a pet peeve because it doesn't take much effort to be open and honest, or as honest as you can be at the time, to say, we don't know, we've got a lot of things going on, but we acknowledge that this is a situation. So actions speak louder than words. Words are just farts in the wind. It's you've said this on the cruise. Now let's see something tangible from it. Mark.
Uh, you know,
Mhm.
Ken, I love Ken. He's a good guy. He's one of my best friends, and he's the voice of reason on the podcast. But he's Mr.
Optimist.
Positivity, a very optimistic guy. You know, as far as I'm concerned, Doc only talked about it because they cornered him on the ship. They had a question segment, and he had nowhere to run and had to answer it somehow. The fact of the matter is he doesn't give a shit. Okay? If he did give a shit, he would have talked about this long before this cruise happened. Okay? Now, like I said before 100 times, I'm just a small tiddly widdly guy who runs a little label, but even I and Julian can and you guys can vouch for this, that I keep my people, the limited amount of people that I have involved in my stuff, updated every step of the way through everything, especially when there's delays involved in it. And that's the way you should do it, because even if somebody gives you $20, okay, that's $20 that they didn't have to give you, that you now have, and they expect something in return for it. Okay. Now we're talking about people who have dropped $250, $500, $1,000, and lots of these people have done this. And you have the gall to sit there and not keep these people up to date on what's happening with the money that they spent on your stuff. Okay. You have the audacity to sit there and say, we weren't really involved too much with it, too much. We didn't know what was going on. And all kinds of excuses were made up from these guys. And I just think Doc is just trying to put out forest fires now. That's all he's doing now, because he got completely cornered on the cruise and had to talk about it. He knew eventually he would have to, especially if he got on the cruise ship. He wasn't getting off of there with at least somebody asking him about it. Okay. And I've seen on the board here, somebody talked about the Dubai thing, as numerous people have. And one person apparently who works for the Landmark people or whatever has said on here that we're waiting for Kiss. The ball is in their court. That they've said that on there numerous times, and that was a long time ago that I read that they said that it's there in their
Landmark
court.
has blamed
Yeah,
Kiss
that's the
repeatedly in emails. They said Kiss has not approved.
That's what I'm saying. So for Doc to go up there and start making all these reasons and make it sound like they're not to blame for it is complete horse shit. Okay.
Well, unless they won't approve, unless they get paid.
Well, then why not say that? Why not go and say it then? Because if I'm look at, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm the person who bought this stuff, I want to know why I'm not getting it. At least tell me the truth of why I'm waiting here all this time. If you guys didn't get paid, okay, and that's why you're delaying it, at least let me know that. Sure, I'll still say, what the fuck? I don't care. It's not my problem. I paid for it. I want my shit, right? but at least now I know why you guys are being dickheads and not doing anything about it. You know, that's the thing that really bothers me. But as you can tell, I'm really pissed about this kind of stuff because I hate it when people do this. People spend money, like you said, nowadays especially. You see people on the news all the time crying and complaining about how much it costs for gas. Groceries are up. All this stuff is expensive now. And you still have fans that are willing to drop this much money for your stuff. And you don't have the decency to go and tell them what the fuck is going on. You know what? You guys are dicks. That's all I have to say about that.
So it's going to be interesting. You know what happens. Daniel, any thoughts on that about how business should be handled?
I'll keep it short. I'm not sure how law works in America, but when you recall how it went down, the stuff that this Ross guy did with magic. I mean, he's just I think he was a school teacher, and he had this project, and he got a lot of dollars from fans, and it seems like he got away with it. If that guy can get away with that amount of money, I'm sure Kiss will get away with a lot of money without any repercussions or anything happening to them. So I'm sorry to say, Ken, I don't think you will get anything at all. And I have to agree with Mark 100% that the guy was cornered on the cruise, and you know, he's been around the block a few times, so he know what to answer, and then he'll move on, and he won't do anything more about it. That's my take on it.
So there's a 10% chance you're going to make it through this operation, Mr. So-and-so. Best of luck. You ain't getting nothing. Yeah. We shall see. I'm glad you're so positive, Daniel. But I guess you're a realist, aren't you?
I'm a realist. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we all need to be, because again, I think we're about as likely to see anything out of this as we are magic.
Yeah. It's over.
But at least, no, it's not over, because we're going to continue to see Ken's Dubai meme. He's going to refine it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I
like that.
With Dubai meme 2.0. All right, I got to work tonight, so we're going to cap it off right there. Remember, if you want to win the signed artist print of the cover art for MASS-KISSTERIA, KissFAQ@outlook.com. Give me anything you want to say in the message so that it sends. And I want to give a shout out to the FAQ board members who I met up with at the events as well. It was good to see people in person, some who I've met before, others I met for the first time. Nice to always put faces to names and to see you and interact offline where it really, really matters, because this is a poor substitute for getting together in person, and the message board is an even worser substitute for reality. So that's it for now.
Hey, but Julian, a quick question too, and I'm kind of curious, how did the sales go for you at the Kiss Fest, or whatever it was called? Which book is your best seller on an event like that?
I didn't take that many books. You know, I had pictures alive with me, which people love thumbing through. You know, they're not big. None of the books are big sellers anymore, because there's just the amount of foot traffic. It was more to be there and have the opportunity to tell people thank you. What was awesome is when someone comes up to you and say, "Oh, I wish I knew you were here. I would have brought my book and you could have signed it." And I've got I still have some of these old Odyssey flyers, so I was able to whip those out and say, "Here, sign it in ink. You can put that in. Thank you for your support." That's more meaningful to me than a sale, is to get to thank someone who supported the projects over the years for that support. And maybe
I'm just curious, because you're a best-selling author in Sweden now.
Yes.
So it's kind of interesting to hear what kind of stuff you move over in the States.
Yeah, the event was in LA, so I did okay. You always want to do better, but I had a great time, being right next to Vinny Appice, and I had Andrew. Andrew, by the way, thank you for being with me all events. Massive help. Was great to hang out and gave me a ton of help, which is really useful because it does take effort to set up and to load in. He doesn't like my dolly, which is a shame. and
a little question to end things. What about the new book? Any news on release dates and stuff?
I'm not doing a release date. People were able to have a flip through of it, and the reactions were all positive. There was some good feedback as well. You know, I'm not saying it was all glowing, because again, this is a rough layout of what I had, with all the gaps that are still there as well, so that hopefully I could make some connections and have people contribute to that. But Claudio saw inside and suddenly realized what he'd done the cover art for, and he was happy that he'd, done cover art for that once he saw what was actually inside it, because he thought it was a long form written, like everything Tim and I did previously, or perhaps are better known for. And this is more pictorially in the realm of what Alan does. And don't forget, he's still got copies of the singles book, and I just changed my mind and ordered a copy. So go to Kiss on Tour 74 to 83, find him on Facebook or on the FAQ to order his as well. So again, I sold some books. I've still got stock. That's why I've got the store open, and because I'm getting off eBay, because I am sick to death of dealing with eBay. And people who ordered on Sunday had their books by Tuesday in many cases. Things are going out priority, well packed, mint out of box, which for hardcovers means that there are some dings on the corners, because that's part of the manufacturing process. No way around it. So that's why I'm doing the store, because I can fulfill quickly, and we're not waiting for eBay. And yeah, how did sales do? Sold a lot of books. But
cool.
Again, it's a smaller event. It's not like the expos years ago.
No.
Because a lot of people went to Disney instead of Cruise Fest. Shame on you.
What?
How dare you? No, it was good times. And again, thanks to everyone who I saw. Thanks to you guys for holding down the fort. That's a quick episode. Next week, we're going to get back in on a death match. What was the last pick? What's up this time? We got Dress to Kill.
Remember.
Dress to Kill, was it?
No, we did Dress to Kill, wasn't it?
Dress to Kill.
We did Dress to Kill and Rock and Roll Over last. So this is now Dynasty, isn't it?
Dynasty.
No.
Yeah, I think it's Dynasty.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to look up what it is, but that's what it's going to be. Next show will be a death match. All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.